I'm sorry. Hey, this is Ashraf. Welcome back to One Day One Hack. Today, I'll be talking about how to dominate your competition in any market. And to drop the value bomb on this topic, I brought Naresh Vissa on the mic. He was an employee turned into work at home entrepreneur, and now he's a founder and a CEO of Krish Media and Marketing. He's the he is the author of the number one best-selling book, 50 Shades of Marketing, and his second best-selling book, Podcastnomics, the book of podcasting to make you millions. He has helped launch an online radio network generating six-figure in monthly revenue. All right, Naresh, say what's up to our listeners and share one thing about yourself that most people don't know.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on Ashraf and looking forward to kind of sharing my experiences, my stories, my trials, my tribulations on entrepreneurship with everybody. One thing about me that a lot of people don't know, I'll just share a couple of interesting facts, but I actually didn't just jump right into entrepreneurship. I I would say I'm quite educated in the sense that I went to college, I went to graduate school, I have a master's degree from a leading university. I worked in corporate, I worked on Wall Street, I worked for a few other large corporations, did work as well with big entities like Clear Channel Communications, CNN,
Wow.
CNN Radio, you name it. And then I took the jump into entrepreneurship. But I got all my great experiences when I was relatively younger. It was like my late teenage years, early 20s, mid 20s. So I basically crammed in a lot of great experience on the corporate side. And then I was very comfortable jumping in head on almost 7 years ago, coming up on 7 years. Can't believe it. 2013 is when I went full time into kind of entrepreneurship and working in the online and digital space. And that's the greatness of technology today. It's anybody can kind of just jump right in and start making money. So a lot of people don't know that because they think either I went right into entrepreneurship. They don't know that I kind of have the corporate background, that I have the education that I do have. They don't really know kind of who I was before I jumped into entrepreneurship. So I thought I'd share that.
Why do you decide to jump into entrepreneurship?
Well, the main thing was freedom. If
Freedom.
I wanted, if I wanted money, like if my main goal was to make the most amount of money and to have stability, if I wanted those two things, then I would have just stayed on Wall Street. There's no doubt about it, because Wall Street, the pay is great, the bonuses are great. It's very corporate, and it's actually quite stable. And the jobs that the functions that I had on Wall Street were quite stable, um, but there was not much freedom. So it's not just Wall Street. Any corporate job, you're reporting to somebody, and you're having a boss. You're working with a bunch of different people who are trying to cut you out. So it's just
Mm,
kind of living in this rat race, always trying to move up, always trying to get promoted. Wasn't really my personality, not what I was interested in. So anyway, I wanted freedom. And I think the number one way to achieve freedom, whether it's personal freedom, financial freedom, is to start your own business. And really, I would say from day one, I've had a lot more freedom once I jumped in. The stability and the money, like I told you before, uh, the stability is never going to be there as an entrepreneur. Never. It's always going to be rocky. That's just how it is. No matter, even if you're the CEO of Amazon, um, it's always going to be rocky. on the money and financial side, I'm just very fortunate that when I jumped into entrepreneurship full time, it's like I gave myself a 20% raise during that first year. And then, don't get me wrong, there have been a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but the last few years have been very strong. And at the end of the day, it's, at least to me, it's, do I have the freedom? Am I happy? And that's the case. And if the money continues to increase, if the cash flow continues to increase, great. Um, but the freedom has allowed me to do so many things with my life, whether it's traveling like every month somewhere for the past, really for the past 7 years, within the United States and outside the United States, or just kind of living life every day to the fullest, being very involved in my community. Most people, most of my friends who I graduated college with, my age, they are living that rat race. They are working in corporate. And because of that, it's taken away from their freedom. And they have not been able to, maybe they've been able to travel during vacation, but they have not been able to get involved in their communities, really make an impact, uh, really a long lasting type of impact. And to me, that's extremely important to be involved in the community. I sit on several boards. I live in Florida. So I'm on probably 4 or 5 different boards locally, frequently attending functions, charity events, galas, you name it. And that's pretty important to me, to give back, to mentor the younger generation, to make our community a stronger place. And having my own business, being able to make my own schedule and delegate to my employees has made that process so much easier.
That's the best part of being self-employed, right? You got to travel, you got to, do your own things, pretty much like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
absolutely. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and like I said, that's the best part of being an entrepreneur. That does not mean that you just get to hang out all day and just watch movies and play basketball. Not at all. I work a lot. I work around the clock. But if I have to go to a charity event tonight, I can drop my stuff, go to the event, come back, finish my work. And that's why I tend to work very late into the night. I'm a night owl. I'm not a early morning person. So sometimes during very busy seasons, I'll find myself working until 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. Um, but I can do that. That's the benefit that I have. If I have something important, if I need to travel around the world, across the world, get on a plane and it's a 25-hour journey, well, that's okay, because once I get to where I need to be, I can then catch up on everything and I'm good to go. So that's a greatness of being an entrepreneur. It's you're very focused on your work, but you also have really, really good flexibility in your schedule.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My internet went wrong. Something went wrong. So you can go out whenever you want, right? You can go to charity, or just quit quit the work whenever you want. And also, you talk about you are the morning person, right? Can you share a tip of how to get up early, or I don't know, what do morning person do? Because I'm a night person. So what is it the best thing about morning
What is what? You cut out.
what is the I'm sorry.
Yeah, continue. What you cut out there? What did you ask?
Oh, you said that you are a morning person, and yeah, what is it the best thing that about being the morning person?
Oh, the best thing about being a morning person
Yeah.
or a night
Because
person? I'm not a morning person.
oh, wait. I thought you said you are a morning person.
No, I said I'm a night owl. I work until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. On during busy seasons. I'm not a morning person.
All right, that's really amazing thing. And I'm sure you have a lot of story that you would like to share with us, Naresh. But as I mentioned in the intro, we are gonna talk about how to dominate any market, how to dominate your competition in any market. So, Naresh, let's first talk about the mistakes when people go into the market. I mean, they know what market they are in, but they don't know how to sell into their market. So, what's the mistake that they did?
Um, well, a couple of things. First off, a lot of people jump in to a product or an industry that they're just not familiar with. They don't know how it operates. They don't know the competitors within the space. They haven't really done a market analysis. And I'm not saying you need to write all this down and have a formal process. But in my case, I worked in an industry where at the time it was relatively small. So I was able to build up my network within that space. And so I built up that network. And when I jumped in, I was able to get clients immediately, clients and customers immediately. So I think the key is if we were to, for example, let's just use a case study, not a case study, but let's use some kind of example. Let's say the trend I'm noticing right now is a lot of these young entrepreneurs, they think they can create the next big app, like the next mobile application. And so they just kind of jump right in, hire developers, and create an app without really understanding, okay, how competitive is the mobile app space? They don't even understand, they don't even do that simple analysis of how much attention does a mobile user have on his phone to where he or she will even use a mobile app. Then on top of that, it's okay, what industry is the app going to be in? Who is the customer of the app? Is it one customer or is it two different types of customers? If you're trying to have two different types of customers, that makes it double the work. So that's what I mean by starting any business. You have to do this type of analysis. And too many people I know, they jump into the mobile app space not understanding that the average mobile user only uses about 14 to 16 apps on it during any given month. So if you're only using let's say 16 apps a month, and you come out with your app, well, why should a user use your app over the other 16 apps that they're using? They're probably using Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, Instagram, their banking apps, maybe one or two banking apps, their camera app, their alarm app, you name it. They're probably using these first. So how is your app better than all these other apps so that you replace one of those 16 apps? Then on top of that is the actual business model of the app. How is the app going to make money? Are you charging people to use it? Well, guess what? The moment you start charging people to use apps on the Apple Store, even if it's a 99-cent app, the number of downloads, the usage goes down tremendously. Not even the usage, just the popularity and the downloads, they just go completely down because people have other free options. So why would they want to pay, right? So then your
Yeah.
next question is who's a customer? Is it a B2B app, meaning it's an app that businesses are going to use? Or is it a
Mhm.
B2C app, which is an app that you're just opening up to the public? So that's a major question because a B2C app, now all of a sudden, your market is really huge. And how are you going to convince these people to use the app, right? We already talked about that before because they have 16 other choices. Um, if it's a B2B app, well, that's at least a little more focused. But then you're going to have to hire a sales force or a marketing team to go out and reach out to businesses and convince them to use the app or to license out the app. So there's a lot of work involved, and too many people I know, they just jump right in, not doing this analysis that we're running through right now. And so after you just determine whether it's B2C or B2B, then you have to determine, okay, how am I going to make money? It's a free app. Let's say I do a B2C. How am I going to make money here? Is it advertising? Is it something else? Well, then you have to look into advertising and see how difficult it is to get advertisers. And so it's all this. People have to run through these analyses before they start any business. And I see too many people jumping into business and they're not able to answer these simple questions or lay out a simple plan like this. And usually when they're like that, I know that they're not serious. I know that they're not going to succeed, and they're going to end up giving up within a year and just move on with their lives. So you have to really walk through the nitty gritty of these things.
Mm-hmm. I like that you talk about there are two kind of customer. There are two kind of who to sell, like B2B and B2C. That's really new for me because I thought that when you build an app, you just sell to, people.
No, it's any business. So my company, Christian Media and Marketing, is a B2B business. I don't just go around to regular people on the street selling our services. I go to existing businesses. I go to small businesses, corporations, and I say, hey, here's what we do. And if you need any help, if you're interested in any of our services, here you go. This is what we offer. And so it's a B2B business. I sell my
Because
books. You brought up earlier that I'm an author. I sell my books. That's a B2C endeavor where we sell books to the public, to consumers through Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com and all these other places. So so yeah, you have to understand, okay, am I a B2B, am I a B2C? Understand the differences between the two, between working with other businesses and working with just the general public. And then move forward accordingly. And the last thing I want to state about the apps are that people, once they do identify, let's say they're a B2C, and once they do identify that they are B2C, they have to determine who is their customer base. Is it a single segment customer base, or is it a double segment customer base? And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you're a bank, like a large, let's say, an international bank that everyone's heard of is Chase, right? So let's say you're Chase and you come out with an app. Well, you have a single segment customer base using that app. It's your banking clients. So it's pretty easy. Just the people who are currently Chase customers, they can log on through the app. Now, let's say you're Uber. So Uber, international company. Uber, do they have a single segment customer base, or is it a double segment customer base, or could it be a triple segment customer base? Well, the answer is, if we run through Uber's model, they have B2C users. So they have people like me who just download the app and use Uber to get around places. But then who's doing the driving? They have to get drivers. They have to get people to they have to sign up people. So there you have a double-ended customer segment, because it's a two-way street. It's not just people who need drivers to take them around, but it's also drivers as well who work for Uber and who get paid money. So that's an incredibly more complex, difficult business model. And they made it. Look, that's why there are only a couple of Ubers. There's Uber, there's Lyft, there are a few others like that. But that's why they made it, and there are hundreds who have not. The moment you bring in an entirely new customer base or customer segment, that makes the work double the trouble. So Uber has to go out, get people like me to use the app, but that it also has to go out and recruit drivers to drive around. That makes it more complex. Versus Chase, they just have one customer segment. It's the people who use Chase. That's really all they have to do to get people to use that app. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is, you need to identify the exact industry that you're in. So you can be in one industry, which I recommend, like Uber is essentially in the transportation industry.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other companies out there, which again, I don't know why they do this and they rarely make it, but they operate in multiple industries. And what I mean by that is they're a tech company, so they operate in the technology industry. But then on top of that, they're also a gaming company, which is fine because gaming and technology go hand in hand. But then they also get involved in like the couponing industry. So if you play a game, you get a coupon. Well, now all of a sudden you're in the gaming industry, so you're competing against games like Temple Run and Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. But then you're also competing against the couponing industry, places like Groupon, Living Social, Valpak. You're competing against them, two completely different industry with completely different players, and now you're operating in two different industry segments, and you've just expanded your competitor base times who knows. And so that makes it incredibly difficult to succeed because you have to succeed in both. You have to have good games and you have to have the couponing side. Whereas Groupon, you could just go on Groupon and you get coupons and deals. You don't have to play any games to do that. Pretty simple business model. Valpak, they mail you coupons in the mail. Pretty simple business model. They're not trying to make things complicated. So you got to understand in business, keep things simple. Keep things simple.
Things simple. Wow. Oh, you just break down the analysis of different industry. That this is first time I knew that Uber is doing that kind of uh, you know what do you call it? There are two kind of prospect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two kinds of customer segments because they have their drivers who
Mm-hmm.
they have to. Uber has an entire division that just goes out and recruits drivers, recruits people to
Mm-hmm.
drive for Uber. But
Mm-hmm.
then they also have a completely separate division of just promoting Uber and getting people um, to use Uber on the app. So that's double the work. But they've succeeded. Good for Uber. They've succeeded. There are only a
Yeah.
handful of apps that have succeeded like that. So don't create a business, whether it's an app or whether it's some other type of business. Keep things simple. Keep it, just have one customer segment. If you
One.
create 2 and 3 customer segments, that's more work for you. And you have
Mm-hmm.
to succeed in every single segment because if one segment fails, then the entire thing crumbles. The entire project crumbles. So take it on if you
Mm.
want, if you really believe in it, if you think it's going to do big things, go right ahead and do it. But it's a two-way street in the case of Uber, and it's like that with many other apps that we use. I was at a party a few months back, and a guy told me he was working on an app that connected patients with doctors. So immediately right off the boat, I knew, okay, this is a double segment type of app where he needs to recruit doctors to use the app, but then he also and on the provider side, and then he needs to recruit regular people, B2C. He needs to promote it to the world to get people to use the app and to download the app. That becomes incredibly difficult. And look, he has a great business idea. It might end up working, but his work is double the
Mm-hmm.
trouble because he's got to do both now.
Yeah, they have.
Whereas
He has to control both
he
things.
has to control both, exactly. Whereas if you come out with the Temple Run game, which is a game that I used to play religiously, all you have to do is get people to download the app and play it. You don't have to
Mm.
recruit doctors or anything. You just get people to use the app. And then once you have enough people using the app, then you can go out, hire a sales force and sell advertising through the app or do something like that. But that comes later down the road. In the case of Facebook, when Facebook got started, Mark Zuckerberg, all he wanted was people to go and use the site. That's it. He didn't care about advertising. He didn't care about corporate sponsors. He didn't care about any of this stuff, the politics, nothing. It was, I just want people to have a community online where they can keep in touch with each other and be friendly with each other online. And he just wanted people to use it. It was a B2C type of platform. That was 15 years ago when he
Mm-hmm.
did this, more than 15 years ago when he started it. And then he got the user base. He reached 1 billion people. Before this decade, he reached 1 billion people. And then he was like, okay, I reached 1 billion people. Now let me hire the sales force. Let me get the advertising. Let me do the analytics. Let me do all this stuff. Let's go public. And now it is a corporation that we know of today.
Yep. And Naresh, today is an age where most markets are not new anymore. Like like you said, Uber or gaming or even Temple Run game. And whenever you try making a new market, there are already people doing that. And that new market will turn out to be a hot market real quick. So how do you think we can stay on top even in a hot market?
Um, so can you clarify what exactly, like, you're asking how to stay on top, or like what are you asking?
Oh, because hot market, there are already people buying the same thing, right? Let's say handphone, mobile phone. There are a bunch of brands like there are many brands of mobile phone, but get how do you differentiate your phone from any other phone?
Oh, so you're asking how do you differentiate yourself to
Yeah.
stay on top? Well, there are two
Yes.
ways. There are two ways to differentiate yourself, really. Number one is by price. So you differentiate yourself by offering the lowest prices. You have the lowest price. So a company like Walmart, for example, Walmart was able to differentiate itself from other grocery stores and convenience stores because they offered the cheapest prices on its products. And on top of that, you could get everything under one roof. So previously, if you wanted to, let's say you go shopping once every 3 months, like major shopping, and you wanted to get stuff for your bedroom, and you wanted to get a washer and dryer, and you wanted to get groceries to eat, and you wanted to get electronics for your home, you'd have to visit 4 or 5 different stores because each store specializes in a different thing. Well, what Walmart did was they said, well, and to make it easy, we're just going to put everything under one roof so that on the left side of our store, you can get your bedding, and on the back of the store, you can get your electronics, and on the right side, you can get your groceries, and in the middle, you can get clothes and other things. So it's kind of like your one-stop shop to get everything under one roof. You don't have to drive around anywhere. Everything is right there. And on top of that, the prices are going to be way cheaper than any of these other stores that you go to. We're going to have prices to where we're barely making any money. We still have a positive margin, but we're barely making any money. And then the way that we're going to make big money at the end of the day is through volume. So the idea is we're going to get so many people coming to visit, and they're going to just buy stuff, and that's how we're going to make a lot of money because of the volume of sales that we're doing. So that's what Walmart does. That's what Amazon does. Amazon, in the case, it's not necessarily the cheapest, but it is online, and it makes it a lot easier to just with one click to just make a purchase for anything. So that's one way to
Mhm.
differentiate yourself. It's price. The other way to differentiate yourself is ease. So Walmart gives you the ease because everything is under one roof, but Amazon gives you the ease because you don't even have to drive to a place. You just take out your phone or get in front of your computer and you do the shopping right there. And then boom, with one click, you've purchased it. And within 3 business days, it's shipped to you. So free shipping as well. So those are two ways you can differentiate yourself, ease and price. But then the third way that you can really differentiate yourself is really quality. So it's like brand quality. So a great example of this would be like Apple. So Apple has not just high quality products that last a while and that have stood the test of the last 30, 35 years, but the brand that Apple has conveyed. Apple does not have the same brand as Walmart. Walmart is known as kind of like a cheap retailer where you get everything under one roof for a low price. Apple doesn't want to be known like that. Apple is known as, look, our products are expensive. They're very high quality. They're designed extremely well with very high quality furnishings. So if you're going to buy it, you're going to pay top dollar for it. And so the people who love Apple, I mean, Apple and Walmart are both two of, I think now, the six largest brands in the world, and very different business models, very different strategies, but they've been able to stay at the top by utilizing these three different approaches. And in the case of Apple, there are countless companies similar to Apple that are more about quality and about finishings and about design, and it's just, you're kind of a class of your own having Apple products. It's the same way with driving a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz or a Bentley. They're in a class of their own, and they're always going to have people who want to be a part of that class.
So let me real quick. So to stay on top in a hot market, we have to lower our price and ease our customer to buy our stuff, just like Walmart did, and also Amazon did. And also the second thing we have to do is provide free shipping. So we can just buy from our phone, from our home, right?
Right. So that would be called ease of use. So
Ease of use.
the free shipping, the just going on your phone and buying something, because I don't have to drive 30 minutes to get to a electronics store to buy something anymore. I can just do it from my phone, easy. Whereas 20 years ago, people were driving all over the place to get their stuff and then transporting it back to their home. The delivery and all that was all a huge pain. Now it's very easy. So yeah, the price, and my company, Christian Media and Marketing, because I wanted to scale immediately and have money coming through the door immediately, and I didn't have a track record like an Apple did. Apple had years and years of building up its brand and investment capital. I didn't have all that. I wanted to make money from day one.
And
So
I
I
also
took
like
the price different.
the third things to do, which is maintaining quality. Because when we focus on quality, people don't care about how expensive it is, right?
So it
Because
depends.
that's what
I
most
think
market does
quality,
right now.
yeah. So quality should always be there. Quality should always be strong.
Sorry, Krish, I didn't hear you. I think your sound
Can you hear me?
didn't connect it.
No, you should be able to hear me right now. Hello.
Wait.
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
All right, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so quality should always be there. But nobody wants to buy a low quality product. So quality should, and I'm not saying just because you buy something at Walmart, it's low quality. Absolutely not. Walmart actually sells quality products, surprisingly, because I mean, I have things at Walmart that I still use after 10 years, I still use. But the third differentiator I told you about is a quality of its own. I mean, a class and a quality of its own. So that's what Apple is, in a different class in and of itself. The Mac computer, if you just look at everything from soup to nuts, top to bottom, the way it's designed, there's been a lot of detail put into every moving part of that. And so there are companies that specialize in that. Like every single thing is cool. Look, if you just want a computer, a good quality computer that's going to work well, you can go to Walmart and get a computer that'll do that. And it'll work well. It will just do the job. But if you want to take things to the next level and have, be in a kind of different class of your own, I mean, it's almost like being a part of an Apple club. That's the way Apple has built their brand. It's, join our club type. Are you a Mac person or are you a PC person? You hear that all the time. Mac or PC, Microsoft or Apple. And at the end of the day, that's really a branding exercise. That question is about brands, and it's, are you willing to spend the extra money to be a part of the Apple group, or are you one of those people who you've just gotten so used to Mac or to PCs, and you can't make that switch over, and you'll also save some bucks while you're at it. So that's really the difference.
Wow, I like that. I like those three things that you said: price, ease, and free shipping, and also quality. So now that our listeners know how to stay on top in a hot market, but what if they want to create a new market? They don't want to stay in a busy market. They want to be in their own market and they want to be unique. Problem of a new market. You know, since it is new, that means not everyone wants it. It might be just a market that not really on demand. They end up creating a new market, but a wasted one. So what do you think they should do to create a new profitable market? Not just new, but profitable market.
Yeah, well, that's if somebody is creating something that's going to create a new market, then they're onto something huge. And that's rare. That is completely rare where people create a new market. So I think the perfect example right now is cryptocurrencies. So cryptocurrencies 10 years ago were unheard of. The market was very thin. 15 years ago, there wasn't even a cryptocurrency market. And now today, we have a cryptocurrency market worth tens of billions of dollars. Um, yeah, and so apparently one guy in Japan, Satoshi Nakamura or Nagamoto, Satoshi is his name.
Mm.
He created this cryptocurrency market, and so if you're going to create a new market, then yeah, it's going to become a, like I said, tens of billions of dollar type of business. It's very difficult to create a new industry, a new market. Most people operate within existing spaces. It takes a real innovator. And look, I'm not one of those people, so I can't answer this question properly because I'm not someone who goes out and creates new markets or new industries. It's not. I mean, I'd love to do it, but I
Yeah, it's a
can't.
bit
I don't have
risky, right?
the capacity. So yeah, that's about it. And I think we're coming up on the end of the episode. We've already gone over time. So um,
Oh,
great being on the show. And just let me know
all
if you have
right.
any final
So,
questions.
so we are close to an end today. So, Naresh, what's the final key point really get from our chat today? And share
Well,
with
the
us
final
how we
key.
can find more about you and how to connect with you.
Yeah, so check out my website, nareshvissa.com. Get on my email list there. If you get on my mailing list, I'll send you a free copy of one of my books, 50 Shades of Marketing or Podcastnomics, whichever you prefer. You can find my through the contact button. You can contact me there. Then I also recommend you go on Amazon, type in my name, Naresh Vissa, see all the books that I have. And my last parting words, look, if you're interested in freedom, if you're interested in entrepreneurship, just jump right in. Don't wait until you get more experience. Just go ahead, jump right in. You're going to fail along the process. That's okay. Be resilient and enjoy the journey.
All right, go check out nareshvissa.com and get his book. Also, thank you for sharing your true Naresh and really appreciate to have you here. And for now, catch you another time.
All right, thank you.